J. Cole responded to Kendrick, as you could see in the title, I'm sure. All week, I've been freaking busy. I wanted to talk about this whole situation earlier, but better late than never, as they say, right? Kendrick dissed Drake, and some say he took a shot at J. Cole too. Some say it was not really a shot. Whatever. On the track, It's Like That, from Future and Metro Boomin's album titled We Don't Trust You. Now, this isn't going to be a full whole breakdown on the beef because this thing has multiple layers to it because it's Drake versus Kendrick. Now J. Cole versus Kendrick, Drake versus Metro Boomin, and all those things put together. And for some reason, I guess Future versus Drake also. So there's a lot of things involved. This is specifically about Kendrick taking a shot at J. Cole and Drake, and J. Cole responding on his surprise album. Okay, like that. It's like that. Whatever. Same thing. Future, blah 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 blah. If you know me, you don't know. You know I don't really listen to Future like that. Whatever. Kendrick. Now, for those that don't know, I'm just gonna break it down for y'all. If you already know, then you know. This is just gonna be a refresher. It is what it is. Them niggas talking out of their necks. Don't pull no coughing out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. My temperament bipolar. I choose violence. Okay, let's get it up. It's time for him to prove that he's a problem. Niggas clicking up but cannot be legit. No 40 water. That is a reference to the group from the Bay Area, which was E40 Be Legit, and damn, what was their sister's name? I keep forgetting the name of her. The Click, E40 Be Legit, D Shot, and Sugar T. I believe that was E40's sister and cousin, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's a good old reference to another California rap group. That's good on Kendrick. Niggas clicking up. In this case, seems to be a reference to Drake and J. Cole. They did the first person shooter track that was on Drake's most recent album, For All the Dogs, released in October 2023. Which this is a response to that. As you can see, yeah, get up with me. Fuck sneak this and first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like fuck rap. Diss Melly Mel if I have to. Melly Mel is the rapper from the group Furious 5. Got 2 T's with me. I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos. It's up. Lost too many soldiers not to play it safe. If you walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location? I still got PTSD. Motherfuck the big 3. It's just me. Now, these are the bars right here where everybody was like, oh, up in arms and all that stuff. But Stick appears to be a reference to the track from the Dreamville album, D-Day, Against the Grills mixtape. Stick, the first track, right here. Jade, Kenny Mason, Sheck West, and J. Cole. Also, I believe it's on this one right here. There we go. PTSD. So we go back. If you walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. The Andre 3K is a reference to the Flute album. Flute, stick. Stick is another word for gun. I don't know who came up with slang of a gun being stick. I still think it's kind of freaking weird, but whatever. Think I won't drop the location. I still got PTSD. PTSD is a song from that album, like I just showed you. So once again, this right here, these bars are considered by some to be a diss to J. Cole. Is it a diss to him? Or at least a reference? Yeah, just like first person shooter. It definitely is. J. Cole mentioned the big 3. You know, big 3 for the past, I don't know, several years at least, has been Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. 3 of the biggest names in rap for the past, like, decade or so. Kendrick saying, it's just me. There is no big 3. And, of course, the clicking up line goes back to those two doing a song together. Kendrick has not done a song with Drake since I believe Effin' Problems from A$AP Rocky's debut album, Long Live A$AP. I believe that's the last time they was on a song together. Before that, Kendrick was on Drake's album Take Care in 2011. They really don't do songs together. J. Cole and Kendrick haven't really been on songs together either. So, hey. But J. Cole and Drake have been on a few songs together, over the years. So, clicking up, Big Three, it all makes sense. It comes together when you look at the big picture. Your best work is a light pack, nigga. Prince outlived Mike Jack. Nigga bum. For all your dogs getting buried, that's a K while all these nines, he gonna see Pet Cemetery. Pet Cemetery is that movie about the freaking animals. K9, another word for a dog. First person shooter, all these nines, another gun bar. All comes together, makes sense. And of course, Prince outlived Michael Jackson. Prince and Michael Jackson were two of the biggest musicians of their time. And Michael Jackson passed in 2009, while Prince, I believe, was 2016. So Prince outlived Michael Jackson. Drake made a reference to him passing Michael Jackson's record for like most number one songs or whatever by a male artist. He passed it, I believe, with First Person Shooter, if I remember correctly. It might have been a different song, but I know it just happened recently, and he made a reference to it. Something like one more than Michael, beat it, beat it, beat it. From freaking First Person Shooter, he said something like that on that damn song. So, yeah, this is all reference to that. You can consider this basically like a direct response from Kendrick to First Person Shooter. Cole responded. He put out a surprise album called Might Delete Later. He responded on track 7-Minute Drill. J. Cole pretty much did his thing. I mean, it wasn't like a rough, hard thing. I mean, people, you listen to J. Cole, we really have known from like False Prophets, for example, that he's not really the rapper that's gonna be like on that rah rah, like, all that aggressiveness. Really, he could rap, that's for sure, no doubt about it, not even questioning it. I will say though, out of the big three, he's probably the one I listen to the least, probably. But he's been putting out some heat. I'll say that much. He switches up the beat after the first verse. And for some reason, I seen several people saying how the first beat was whack, it was trash. They don't like it, and the second one was better. And I just have to make it very clear. I thought that first beat was freaking great. I hate when it switches to that second beat. I damn near want to turn the track off to keep it 100 with you. Because that first beat just fits so well, in my opinion. It just is what it is. Uh, I don't know what people see about the second one, really. Tell me what you think about it. But back to the responding to Kendrick. Whew. Kendrick's gonna have to respond to J. Cole. He's gonna have to step it up, you know. Cause look at this. He's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons. Your first shit was classic. Your last shit was tragic. Your second shit put niggas to sleep, but they gassed it. Your third shit was massive, and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind, and I just now hit mine. Now I'm front of the line with a comfortable lead. How ironic. Soon as I got it, now he wants something with me. Well, he caught me at the perfect time. Jump up and see. Boy, I got here off bars. No controversy. Funny thing about it, bitch, I don't even want the prestige. Fuck the Grammys, cause them crackers ain't never done nothing for me. I love it. I love it. It doesn't need to be super violent. It doesn't need to be super, I'm gonna beat you up when I see you. It's on, all that rah rah. It doesn't need to be. J. Cole finally said something. And I don't mean finally like, oh, he took mad long. But compared to like False Prophets when he was talking about Wale and Ye, and then the third verse he was talking about himself and whatnot, this is a little harder because he's actually dissing Kendrick's music. He's keeping it on the music tip, which I respect. Now some people say he has like this whole sleepy flow where he's kind of like no, and he's not like aggressive enough with it, and like he can be much more harsher. Okay, now I understand that part, but that isn't enough for me to just discredit the song like that. In the context of this song, the first album is Good Kid, Mad City. Let's make it very clear though, Kendrick's first album is Section 80, and it's probably my favorite album by him still. But his major record label debut, the Interscope album, would be Good Kid, Mad City. Section 80 was dropped independently on Top Dog in 2011. Good Kid, Mad City was 2012. That's when I learned about Kendrick, was 2012. So I kind of learned about him last out of the big three. Yeah. But I think a lot of people were like that, really. But yeah. So first shit was classic. That's Good Kid, Mad City. Everybody considers it classic for the most part. Okay, cool. Now he jumps to your last shit was tragic. That's his most recent album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. On First Person Shooter, J. Cole actually makes a reference to this album. Everybody steppers, well, fuck it, then everybody breakfast, and I'm about to clear up my plate. I mean, how many times in rap do we hear people use the word steppers? I don't freaking hear it. Kendrick put out that album in, 2022? Right? He put out Mr. Mountain Big Steppers? 2022, May 2022. Yeah, been almost 2 years now. He says that album is tragic. J. Cole. It's my least favorite Kendrick album besides Damn, honestly. So I get it. I ain't mad at it. Thematically, it was cool, but musically, I don't really have an interest in listening to it, honestly. I mean, I reviewed it. Go check it out. It's on the channel. Your second shit put niggas to sleep, but they gassed it. So that would be To Pimp a Butterfly. I guess it was boring because of like the jazz samples and all of that. That is probably my second favorite Kendrick album after Section 80. I don't know. It's Good Kid or To Pimp a Butterfly, one of the two. They did gas it, but I believe it was well warranted. It had those, it had All Right and King Kunta and all that stuff. Your third shit was massive, and that was your prime. That was Damn. Damn is probably his biggest album on a commercial level, I guess. It had like that song Loyalty with Rihanna and all that, and had DNA, had Humble. Humble is one of his biggest songs. Yeah, it makes sense. Then he said I was trailing right behind, I just hit mine. J. Cole saying he's in his prime now, you know. And that last album he put out was pretty good from what I remember, so yeah, why not? Now I'm front of the line with a comfortable lead. How ironic, as soon as I got it, he wants up with me. Basically saying Kendrick's kind of like getting jealous maybe and whatnot. Makes sense, no problem. I got here off bars, no controversy. Yes, Kendrick had controversy. And back in, 2013? The Control song came out. Big Sean, Kendrick, and Jay Electronica. Everybody rushed, listen to Kendrick's verse over and over again. This long verse where he's throwing shots at mad people. He's throwing shots at Drake. He has done some controversial things and has some controversial lines in other songs. It makes sense. J. Cole hasn't had much controversy in his career. Not that I remember, at least. So, hey. And he says, once again, I don't want the prestige. This is a common thing with J. Cole. He plays it pretty casual, pretty humble, not into all the fame and stuff like that. Just wants to make his music, get paid, and chill, and I totally respect that. And of course, a dig at the Grammys. Great. Now, this line is where things got real crazy. The rap beef ain't realer than the shit I seen in Cumberland. He averaging one hard verse like every 30 months or something. If he wasn't dissing, then we wouldn't be discussing him. Lord, don't make me have to smoke this nigga cause I fuck with him. But push come to shove on this mic, I will humble him. I'm Nino with this thing, this that New Jack City meme. Yeah, I'm aiming at G Money, crying tears before I busted him. G Money, New Jack City, classic film, came out in 91, 92, early 90s, right around there. If you haven't watched it, go look at it. Nino killed his best friend and right-hand man, G Money. And yeah, J. Cole saying, like, we're cool and all, but I am going to be upset, but I am going to have to diss you. Remember, Kendrick and J. Cole were supposed to be cool. They were supposed to put out an album together years ago, and it never came out. People were anticipating that heavy. But that line about averaging one hard verse every 30 months, that's a reach. That's a bit of a freaking reach. But it's basically dissing Kendrick for not putting out music like regularly anymore. Like he put out an album 2011, 2012, like 2015, and then what was it, 2017 or 2018, and then 2017 I think, and then 2022, something like that. So and then of course if you want to count Untitled Unmastered as well, the EP or whatever. But still, and the Black Panther soundtrack. He jumps into the second verse. This is when the beat switched up, and I was kind of like, I think the first verse is better, and the beat is better, personally. But he still goes on at Kendrick. Your arms might be too short to box with the god. That is a reference that other rappers have used in the past. 4 albums in 12 years, nigga, I can divide. That, of course, is a reference to Jay-Z's Takeover. On that track, Jay-Z said, like, 4 albums, 10 years, nigga, I could divide. That's one album every 2.5 years. One was classic, one was what did he say? Something like the other. He said 2 of them was due. Something. One, the other was Illmatic. Whatever. But yeah. And this line right here, this is a double entendre that I just freaking like. Shit, if this is what you want, I'm indulging in violence. Put pictures in my home, aim the chrome at your eyelids. Fly pebbles at your dome, we the Stone Temple pilots. Now, I didn't know what Stone Temple Pilots was, actually, until someone told me when we was talking about the song. They said that Stone Temple Pilots is actually a freaking like a rock band or whatever. So actually, it's a pretty nasty double entendre. Aim the chrome at your eyelids, fly pebbles at your dome. Stone Temple Pilots. The temple, stones, pilots. The freaking track is good. This line is one of my favorite lines in it, especially after I know that it's a reference now to a band. The double entendre makes more sense even. My jack jumping about a rapper making blasphemous sounds, switching sides like the tassel on a cap and the gown. When people graduate, they switch like the freaking little thing on the graduation cap to like the other side. Basically, J. Cole saying that Kendrick switched sides on him. I'm fully loaded, nigga. I can drop 2 classics right now. And of course, he ends it by saying that The Fall Off is on the way. The Fall Off is supposed to be his next album, supposedly his retirement album, last album. But I mean, hey, whatever. He could drop 2 classics right now. So basically, he's saying, this is a classic right here, and The Fall Off is going to be my next classic, the second one. Or maybe he has 2 classics outside of this, which is even better. But hey, what do you guys think about this? Did J. Cole do his thing? Was Kendrick right to say the things he said on that track? Did he really take a shot at J. Cole? With the line about the stick and PTSD, first person shooter, yada, yada, yada. These are questions. Should Kendrick respond to J. Cole? First of all, should Drake respond to Kendrick? Because Drake should have been the one that responded to Kendrick, not J. Cole, in my opinion. Or maybe both of them. But this is more on Drake to me. And what do you think about J. Cole's diss track? Do you think it was good? Do you like 7-minute drill? When I saw the title, I thought it was gonna be 7 minutes, but it's actually like 3.5 minutes. Well, they said it's some reference to like some military like drill or whatever. But what do you think about the track? It's produced by T Minus and Conductor. I think T Minus did the first beat and then the Conductor did the second beat or something like that. Also, there's one more thing. J. Cole possibly did also diss Kendrick on another track. On the album, mixtape, whatever you want to call it, he has this track right here, Pie. Now, on Pie, as you probably saw, Absol and Daylight, two of my favorite lyricists of all time. Just, they're both, if I had to just pick lyricists in rap, they're on my top list, top 10 easily. Daylight and Absol, without a doubt. Up there with Lupe as well, of course. Now, Daylight and Absol go back and forth, rapping, doing their thing. Obviously, metaphor on top of metaphor. It's pretty ridiculous. J. Cole has the last verse, and he goes off. Bunch of bars. Lyrical, miracle, spiritual, in your swimming pool, all that stuff, like Eminem said, right here. Now, these lines have gotten him in a little bit of hot water on social media because, oh my god, you did it. Oh my, I'm so sorry. His album dropped. It was trash. I literate like I can't spell it. Now, that's a reference. I literate, illiterate. So, once again, hell, even these people, that whoever annotated it thinks that it was probably a shot at freaking Kendrick because he dissed Kendrick on 7 Minute Drill, which of course is also on this album mixtape. So it makes sense. Who else would he be talking about where he says his album is trash? Probably not freaking Drake, since he was just on Drake's album. Probably a shot at Kendrick. Then he has the bars right underneath it. Is you a demon or is that demeanor for the gram? Tell us. They plead the fifth. I'm seeing hints of a trans fella. In the cancel culture's vicinity, he's no killer, trust me. Beneath his chosen identity, there was still a pussy. Period. Blood spilling monthly, rather weekly, as a myriad of bodies drop, where bricks get karate chopped to maximize the dojo, comprende? Okay, so this line, some people saw it as like transphobic or whatever, which was freaking stupid in my opinion. Now, if this is him talking to the same person that he's referring to that their album dropped and was trash, it would make sense because that would be Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Here, he's talking about someone's chosen identity. So they were born a man or a woman, but they're choosing to self identify as the opposite or whatever. Okay, fine. So obviously, he's referring to a man because he said beneath his chosen identity, there is still a pussy. It was kind of confusing, really. I mean, it is confusing, I'm not gonna lie, but I wouldn't consider it hateful or whatever because this is directed at a specific person. This very well might be a shot at Kendrick because again, Kendrick has the song like Auntie Diaries or whatever from Missing Around the Big Steppers. Now, this was the track where people considered Kendrick, they got all upset. I believe it was on the second disc towards the end. Yep, Auntie Diaries. People didn't like this song a bit because it talks about transphobia once again and all that stuff. I mean, he talks about his like aunt who used to be his uncle or something like that, so on and so forth. So this might have been a whole reference to Auntie Diaries, possibly, possibly. But it makes it more likely when you consider the fact that he said his album dropped, it was trash, and his album dropped. That his last album was almost 2 years ago, granted, but still, who else he talked to, and who else had a song talking about a chosen identity, trans person, so on and so forth. That's what I got to say about the songs. Broke down the disses, possible disses, all that good stuff. So once again, oh wait, another question actually. Absol being on that Pie song? Absol's from TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, which of course is a label that Kendrick was known for being on for um damn near 15 years, right? He released all of his albums on Top Dog pretty much. Mixtapes too. He signed to Top Dog in what, like 06, 07? He left Top Dog in 2020, 2021, something, 2022? I don't remember exactly when he left. But the point is, he was on the label for over a decade with Absol, Schoolboy, J Rock, and all of them. So, do you think that this is possibly another jab at Kendrick by featuring Ab Soul, who was, a friend, label mate, coworker, whatever you want to call it, with Kendrick. And now that Kendrick's off the label, hey, we haven't seen Kendrick featured on an Ab Soul album, his last one, or vice versa, right? Maybe, maybe. Of course, this is speculation and all of that. Once again, though, like I said, should Kendrick respond to this track? Is he going to respond? You think so? I'm looking for it. I'm waiting for it. I think he will. Should Drake respond to Kendrick? I hope he does. I like J. Cole's track. Think it was good. Think he could do better, but he usually doesn't really go too hard, really. He says, I like this dude. He said that in the song. The whole G Money line. Lord, don't make me have to smoke this nigga because I F with him. Look, he says it right there. So, he made it clear 2 or 3 different times in his song that he still rocks with Kendrick. So, is this a full-on beef? They got a diss track out or a response track or whatever you want to call it. But, hey, I think J. Cole did his thing, and I'm looking forward to hearing from what he does next, whoever responds next. It might be Kendrick, it might be freaking Drake. It might be freaking Future Metro Boomin. Who knows? And do you guys want me to cover this whole beef? Do you want me to break it down to the beginning with Kendrick and Drake, and the problems that Metro Boomin and Drake have, so on and so forth? If you guys want me to talk about that, of course, I could probably do that too. Just let me know. But once again, I just wanted to talk about this for a bit since Kendrick dropped that track like 2 weeks ago, or whatever, or he's featured on it. And now J. Cole responded. I'll be back once again, like usual, to update you guys and see what's going on. And this is, of course, is trending, along with something else in hip hop, of course, which I might talk about, but that don't really got much to do with music, if you know what I mean. Take that, take that.